try some of these here. Well, welcome back to Elster's Rifles and Reloading, Part 5 of this PSA 10.5-inch barrel AR pistol review. And I just want to make a few notes before we shoot this load development. Now, first and foremost, if this is the first time watching one of the parts of this 5-part series, I highly recommend going back to Part 1. If you don't do that, you're really going to have no clue what's going on in this series. And second, I'm getting a lot of questions in the comment section about why a bipod on an AR pistol. Now, obviously, I'm trying to do load development. I'm trying to stabilize the pistol as much as possible. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could do load development standing upright, shooting this AR pistol without sandbags or a bipod, but obviously if you're doing load development, that'd be kind of ridiculous. So in order to squeeze out every bit of accuracy out of this AR pistol, I want to get it stabilized. Whether it takes a rest, sandbags, or a bipod, I think in this case, it would be nice to have a bipod in this situation so you can put it on and off for load development. But once my load development is done and I can hunt down the most accurate round possible for this AR pistol, it's gonna be pretty rare to see this bipod on this AR pistol. And third, I actually ended up taking out the PSA enhanced polished trigger group out of this AR pistol. I had a Rock River Arms match trigger laying around because I installed a velocity trigger in my Rock River Arms 20-inch varmint bull barrel. And it is actually much better than this enhanced polished trigger group from PSA, and I'm hoping to squeeze out even more accuracy. And this Rock River Arms match trigger has zero creep in it, and it was an obvious upgrade, especially being that I had it laying around. You know, short of getting a Geisley trigger, which I don't want to spend that much money in a trigger for this inexpensive AR pistol. I mean, the pistol is $480. And spending that much on a Geisley trigger, which would be damn near half the price of this AR pistol itself, being I had it laying around, it was a no-brainer. So getting back on track with the load development, I had one of my subscribers, Don't Ask, mention to me I should check out the 53 grain VMAX. He said the bullet coefficient on this particular bullet is not only better than the 55 grain VMAX, but it's also better than the 60 grain VMAX and the 50 grain VMAX. So I said, hey, what the heck, I'll give it a try, especially with an amazing bullet coefficient like that. It can't hurt. Now, with that being said, out of all the VMAX bullets I've ever tried, the 55 grain, which is a flat base bullet, 60 grain VMAX, also a flat base bullet. I did notice on the 53 grain VMAX, which I'm sure this is why it gets this amazing bullet coefficient, that it does have a boat tail on it. Now, in my experience with shooting 223s, whether it's a 68 grain boat tail hollow point or 75 grain boat tail hollow point, every single time I've done load development, I've been down this road 100 times, it seems like these flat base bullets with the 55 grain and the 60 grain VMAX always came out on top. But with such an amazing BC, I figured I'd give this 53 grain VMAX a try. So what I did is I loaded up 10 each at 25 grains,
25.2, 25.4, 25.6,
and 25.8 in XBR 8202. In this way, I can shoot 2 total 5-shot groups at each grain weight, with the second confirming the first. And I also loaded up 100 total of the 55 grain VMAX that performed exceptional in part 4 of this series. Now, I actually did not go with the best possible group in that part 4 load development for the 55 grain VMAX, the best group out of that. I actually went with the second best group, and the reason why I did that is vertical displacement. I mean, yeah, I could have picked the best group, the smallest group possible in that load development, but I had a second group that was a very, very close second. And I measured the vertical displacement of that group, and it was actually a little bit less than the best group. And it has more powder, which means more velocity. So that's why I went that route. So in doing load development, it's not always the best decision to go with the smallest group. You also have to look at vertical displacement and where those different accuracy nodes fall on the velocity spectrum. Now, I don't chronograph, never have, and most likely never will. It gets to a point where, in my opinion, load development can drive you crazy. I just really enjoy shooting my rifles, but it's something to keep an eye out for. And if you do chronograph, which is great if you want to do that, it's just I don't. It's all up to you. And I really don't go this heavy into load development. I'm more doing this for the video itself, especially to help some of you new reloaders. But whatever, everyone has a method to their madness, and it's just about finding your own journey. Enough said. Let's go to the range and get this shot. Well, it is really windy out, you know, a little bit more than I'd like it to be, especially for load development. But hey, in the real world, take what you can get. And a little bit of a spoiler alert on the next rifle series, the Ruger Precision Rimfire 22LR. Now, before I shoot this, I'm going to shoot 2 5-shot groups with the 55 grain VMAX low development from part 4. I did clean this barrel, so I need to follow it out a little bit. So before I do this low development, we're going to shoot 2 quick 5-shot groups. And if you want a tip when doing detail work or load development with a red dot, I highly suggest putting your red dot on the lowest visible setting and co-witnessing it with the smallest rear aperture. It will make a perfect, crystal clear red dot. So not too bad, not too bad. You know, for cold bore shots, following out the barrel from being cleaned. You know, this first group, I'm not sure which one was first until I look at the video footage. You know, very could be a cold bore shot, but this is just pretty much one ragged hole here. Or it could be me, but anyways, still pretty impressive group at 50 yards. Without this flyer, I would say it's about 3/8. With the flyer, pushing about 7/8. And the next 5-shot group, I would say is about 7/8 also. Let's get this low development shot and let this barrel cool down just a little bit. Go from there. wow, not impressed at all. And as in my previous experience with the VMAX bullets, the flat base bullets always come out on top, at least in my years of load development with 223. I mean, these groups are horrendous. I got a feeling I'm wasting my time here. But holy cow, what a difference. And just because they have a better BC doesn't make them more accurate, that's for damn sure. That's horrendous. I got a feeling I'm just wasting my time here with these confirmation loads, but you know, I got them loaded up, might as well shoot them. Well, I think it's safe to say that was a big fat waste of time. Wow, that is horrid. And a night and day difference between the 55 grain VMAX. And I don't even think it's even worth even scoring this. I mean, some of these groups are pushing 4 inches, 5 inches. I mean, night and day difference. And like I've always said, flat base bullets and 223 rifles, I've shot them clear out to 600 yards under 2 inches with a 223, and they always come out on top, even above the 68 and 75 grain bolt tail hollow points. What a night and day difference. Well, anyway, I'm gonna let my AR pistol cool down for about 15 minutes here, depending on if anyone else shows up here, and try and run a 6x5 at the 100-yard mark. So I got a chance to let my barrel cool down after about 15-20 minutes, and just to let you know, it is very windy out, so I'm not exactly sure how this 6x5 will turn out, but hey, when you go to the shooting range, you take what you can get. But that's pretty darn good for 100 yards, especially for how windy it is. And a 1x red dot, non-magnified. You know, you can definitely tell that the barrel's heating up at the very end here. Groups are starting to open up. But for 100 yards, 10.5 inch barrel, non-magnified, you know, this first 5-shot group at 100 yards, I would say it's about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. This third group, it's got to be, I'm guessing, about 1 inch. And without actually scoring this back at the reloading room, I'm gonna guess average-wise, yeah, 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches, but we'll know better once we get back to the reloading room. So the fact that these 55 grain VMAX absolutely destroyed the 53 grain boat tail VMAX, even at 50 yards, I think speaks volumes. So load development, load development, load development. And even more important, bolt selection, bolt selection, bolt selection. Let's take this back to the reloading room and get this scored up. Well, I gotta say, especially if you're new to reloading, if you haven't watched all 5 parts of this series, you're doing yourself an injustice. Now, are there more accurate 10.5 inch AR pistols? Obviously. But for $480 shipped, I seriously don't see how you can go wrong. And I think it's safe to say the 55 grain VMAX flat base bullet is the future of this 10.5 inch 1-in-7 twist PSA AR pistol. And I feel very, very confident that I can lower the average of this 6x5 at 100 yards if I didn't shoot 60 rounds beforehand and if it wasn't so windy. Now, why is this all important? Well, the reason why is, for example, if you're shooting a 1-inch group at 100 yards, that same group at 100 yards is 2 inches at 200 and 3 inches at 300 yards. But if you're shooting, for example, 3-inch groups at 100, that 3-inch group at 200 is now 6, and at 300 it's 9 inches. It makes a big difference. And now I'm finally done with load development. And for all you little babies out there, I can take off my bipod. I'm just kidding. Are you happy? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you next time.